Breaking news. Jeff Bezos has stepped down as the CEO of Amazon. Now, in this video, we will discuss what that means for your business and investment. Hi, this is Kenneth Yu. Welcome to Write Your Own Damn Check, where we help you take back your financial destiny through superior business marketing and investment strategies. So, in rather surprising news today, Jeff Bezos has stepped down as the CEO of Amazon and has handed the reins over to Andy Jassy, who was one of the founding members of AWS. And so, what we want to discuss today in this video is what does that mean for you as an investor, as an entrepreneur, as someone who runs to write your own damn check. So what that essentially means is there's this big news, there's this big trend. So what are the predictions? What are the foreseeable circumstances that will be coming your way so that you can position yourself accordingly? So fundamentally, there are, I think, two sections to this. Number one is where does Amazon go from here? And number two, where does Jeff Bezos go from here? And then you strategize accordingly. So number one, where does Amazon go from here? So it starts at the top, really. When a CEO changes, you look at the new CEO and you look at their tendencies of how they run things in the past, because that's generally where they bring their flavor into leading the organization. Because here's the thing, like Amazon is almost like spaghetti bolognese, so like a bowl of spaghetti bolognese, which means structurally it doesn't change. Spaghetti bolognese cooked by different chefs doesn't change that much. But the different chefs bring their own flair and they bring their own flavor to it. So in the same way, Amazon probably wouldn't change. With all these big organizations like Apple and everything, it doesn't really change that much from the structural perspective, but the chef will bring their own different strengths and weaknesses to the fold. So let's say in the instance of Apple, so Apple was led by Steve Jobs. They were leaning very heavily into the innovation aspect of things. But when Tim Cook stepped in, and Tim Cook was the CEO of Apple before he was elevated to CEO, Apple then focused on the supply chain and operational excellence. And that's what brought it from however many billion to trillions of dollars, or about $1 trillion plus today. And that's because Apple structurally didn't change that much. So you still have the iPads, you still have the iPhones, etc., etc. Just that Tim Cook optimized the process. So what about Jassy? So looking at Jassy first and foremost was one of the founding members of AWS. He was one of the founding members of Amazon's cloud computing division, which is like a $50 billion division, and it's one of the key Amazon drivers. It might actually be the number one business that Amazon has, which means he's proven to grow a business. So he was given a section and he grew it really fast. And he's engineering focus. So he's focused on the nuts and bolts and the technology side of things. And even now, he's still the head of AWS. They haven't announced a replacement for him yet. So when you look at someone like Jassy, and the other thing about Jassy, before I forget, is that he was Jeff Bezos's chief of staff and right-hand man. He was essentially what they call his shadow. That means wherever Jeff goes, Jassy goes. Which means due to the proximity, he knows all of Bezos's tendencies. He knows what the Amazon playbook is. He knows what the key focuses are in the future. Therefore, I don't think he will actually rock the boat, because he's first and foremost an Amazon, Jeff Bezos' shadow that's now the shadow become flesh, as it were. So I think it will be business as usual. Whatever Amazon is doing, Amazon is just going to keep doing it. The only difference, two differences, is that Bezos doesn't face the scrutiny of, let's say, either the SEC or the public anymore, and so he can focus on his own things. But the machine which is built, Amazon, will remain the same. Will it be exactly the same? Probably not, because Jassy is more of a technology engineering person. There may be more emphasis on those parts. And there is rumor that they want to spin off AWS as its own entity, because it actually makes financial sense to do so, and because the Fed and the government wants to break down all these big tech companies, which the Democrats are more likely to push for. The way Facebook now is facing a list of charges, and they want to break up Facebook. Amazon may be going the same route. And according to Professor Scott Galloway, he said that Jeff may voluntarily do it on his own. So that's one of the things we want to look out for. But otherwise, Amazon looks like it's business as usual. So the stock may dip a little bit with any CEO change, but I think it will still be a solid buy. Like, I don't think there'll be anything revolutionary that's going to happen. Second is, what would Jeff do? And I think this is a far more exciting thing, because this explores the possibilities of where you can be in your investment/wealth creation adventure. So basically, Jeff has a whole bunch of different passions and side hustles. His side hustles are in the billions. Side hustles that he has. And so he's optimized Amazon to this point, and their earnings are crazy. Like, basically, it was 100 billion in earnings in a quarter or something. So on this high, because he knows on this high, if he steps down, it probably wouldn't rock the stock market too much. And this is his main focus, and the focus may surprise you. There was an article in Variety where they state that Jeff Bezos wants to be essentially the leader of the Intergalactic Council. If that sounds like science fiction, it's really Jeff's driving force. A lot of the articles that delve into Bezos' psyche is all about his obsession with outer space. I mean, one good example is that Amazon Prime, which definitely he owns, bought up the rights to The Expanse. The Expanse is a science fiction drama which is known as Game of Thrones in space. And it's all about space colonization. So you can really see where he's living out his fantasy. So a lot of his obsession is he wants to turn Amazon into the most lucrative company in the world, so that he can colonize space and make Earth a national park. It's really crazy. But when you know his drive, and you know his relentlessness, you know why he does the things he does. Because Amazon does a lot of things that is not in the business playbook, and they are ruthless in doing that. And so he's optimized his company, one of the most profitable companies in the world now, richest man in the world now, Bezos. Now let's start fulfilling his childhood dream. And we know that one of the key things that he talks about is Blue Origin, which is really a competitor to SpaceX. And so I think really right now what he's going to do is he's going to start his quest to be the intergalactic warlord. So he's going to focus on Blue Origin. Again, speculation, but it's what drives him. So better now than never, right? When you're still young, like he's only 55. And this whole space thing is going to take a long time. But if he uses his operational excellence and strategic excellence to focus on space, then there's going to be a lot of very interesting developments in the outer space sector. And it's going to be a frontier market, the way marijuana, weed stocks right now, or even crypto are frontier markets. but way before that. So now crypto is getting a bit of legitimacy. The wheat stocks are also getting a little bit of legitimacy, but the space stocks are a little bit behind. And and so it's an interesting space to watch in the next few years, and you may even take a position when the time comes. I know we have the space ETF, not ETF, sorry. We have the space spec, which is Virgin Galactic, which means you can already invest in those things. Katie Wood, the head of ARK ETF, wants to start a space ETF. And there's a lot of practical application to space beyond space tourism. Everybody thinks in terms of space tourism, but there are things like space mining, which is an interesting space simply because some lawyers are already doing it, drafting rights in terms of territory and all those things. So it's already happening. Or satellite internet, because a lot of the world is not covered by broadband. There's limitations to fiber optics. Therefore, satellite will be the great equalizer, which is again an outer space thing. So again, it's a frontier market. It's going to be heavy losses, but huge gains, because chaos and volatility is where you make the money in a lot of the things. If you get lucky and if you know how to hedge your bets. So look for space as the next frontier, pun intended, especially in the investing side. So that's it from the Jeff Bezos stepping down. So again, to reiterate, what does that mean for you? One, Amazon is probably going to be business as usual. It may have a little bit more focus on the AWS side, but otherwise it will be status quo. Hold on to your shares, or if it drops a bit, get it. I think there might be some dips. You can get it. So solid overall. Again, not advice, not financial advice, just a suggestion. And the next thing is what Jeff wants to do. He wants to be intergalactic warlord of the world. And if he applies his brain the way he applies into Amazon, into outer space, you're going to start seeing a lot of technological advances in that space, which means it may be good to start taking positions there. Because even a visionary like Katie Wood is already focusing on that. We already have specs that are on outer space in the stock market and everything. It's going to be a wild ride. It is before crypto. It is before the wheat markets. But that's a brand new asset, brand new market that you should take a look at. So that's it from me. So this is Kenneth Yu signing off. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, because we're growing. I mean, we don't have a lot of subscribers yet, but if you like what I'm sharing, please subscribe. And then I have a free newsletter called WYODC Confidential, which gives you all the superior marketing business strategic strategies on how to write your own damn check. And that's at WYODC.com. So there you go. Some very interesting news from a very interesting week already. And that's it from me. Bye.